5 of the most disrespectful defendants to ever grace a courtroom. From insulting judges to mocking their own victims, these individuals went above and beyond to show complete disregard for the legal process. Get ready to be shocked by their outrageous behavior. Number 5. Base Webb. You see, Base Webb wasn't a first-time offender. He had been in prison before, and was so angry about it that after he got released from prison, he got into a car and tried to run over 2 people that worked there. Right, because they were totally the reason why you were in jail in the first place. Obviously, that attack was a serious crime and he was taken to prison. When he got brought before a judge, she had to rescue herself. Why? Because she knew the 2 people that he tried to kill, and thus couldn't render an unbiased verdict.
There's no way I'm going to try this case or have any further proceedings where I have to see you for one further second.
As she says her recusal and talks about how she doesn't want to spend one more second in front of Webb, he straight up spits on her. That, by the way, is another crime, and the judge knew that and told him to check it. And later on, at another trial, he entered the courtroom with a shaved head and a tattoo upon it that read like a hit list. And that indicated that he had already taken the lives of a few people on that list. Clearly, this guy is messed up in all the ways that matter, and the judge is honestly lucky that all he did was spit at her, because it was a quick cleanup on her part, and a lengthier sentence for him when added to all the other charges he had done and was convicted for. Number 4. Alan McCarty. He was in a courtroom once for a child custody case. At the end of the trial, the judge ruled that he would lose the custody of his children. As you might guess, he didn't take that well at all.
Do you want to suck my... I'd prefer not to, sir.
And that's when things went off the rails, because he made a call to 911, telling them that he had a gun pointed at the building where the judge was at.
Communications, Warhurst.
Yeah, I want to report a crime that's about to happen.
What do you mean a crime that's about to happen?
Yeah, there's about to be a crime that's going to happen if my kids don't come back to me, you stupid. I got a gun pointed at your building. Where's your judge warrant at? You gonna bring that out in handcuffs and I'm gonna execute that right in the street.
And he demanded that they be brought out to him so that he could kill them. Not cool, dude. But it gets worse, believe it or not. Throughout his trial for the death threats, McCarty was unruly, wild, and cussed pretty much every other word.
My daddy owns the building and I look like a idiot, huh? Brought your dress today, you little prick. You wanna take my kids from me and act like that? You wearing that? Shut the up. I'm trying to think over here.
It got so bad in the sentencing trial that he had to be removed from the room.
I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. I'm just not standing up. I'm not.
But that didn't stop him one bit. It didn't, because he went on a tirade in that other room so loud that you could actually hear it in the main courtroom. Thankfully, his crimes were punished appropriately, because he was sentenced to 20 years in prison, and the judge got a little bit of revenge by adding another 10 days to that sentence for his behavior. The lesson here is, if you have beef with the judge, show it in a proper way, because this wasn't it. Number 3. Daryl Brooks. Let's start out with a criminal who honestly was beyond reproach for the act that he committed, which might already give you ideas on what crimes he did, but we promise you, it's worse than you think. You see, there was a parade going on in his hometown, and during it, he decided to drive his car through it. And by through it, we mean through the various people that were on the street for the parade. He was doing a good speed too, as he went barreling through the area. Not only is that heinous, you have to wonder what would convince a person to do such a thing. Well, we got to find out, because from the get-go, he said he would defend himself in court.
If you are allowed to represent yourself in this case, sir, you will not have attorneys assisting you. They are gone from this case. Do you understand that?
I think I will probably be better served representing myself.
And there's a reason that's a bad idea, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're only going to make things worse. And he made things much worse for himself. First off, he acted like a complete jerk in the courtroom and had to be removed from it several times for the things that he said. But it didn't end there. When a person was on the stand testifying to the horror she witnessed that day, Brooks couldn't help but laugh. Not exactly the reactions of an innocent man, wouldn't you say? And that still wasn't the end of it. because eventually he snapped at the prosecution because he didn't like how they said the defendant. And when all else failed him, he went and had a stare down with the judge, which caused her to pause the trial because she felt he was going to attack her.
Dwelling from 2006.
Right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
That's not a feeling you want the judge to have. The person getting the last laugh wasn't him though, as the jury found him guilty of all 76 charges put against him. The total amount of years he'd be behind bars? 6 life sentences, plus 700 years added on. We're not going to be seeing him again. Number 2, Bryce Rhodes. All of his crimes were ironically preventable. He took the life of a man that he thought was someone else, so he was already off on a bad foot by not just taking a life, but taking the life of the wrong person. Then when he realized there were 2 people in the car that saw him take that man's life, he went after them too and killed them.
You close with these kids at all?
They're cool. We play basketball. I'm cool with a lot of people.
Did you hang out with them on a regular basis?
They was cool. Yeah, we hung at different times, you know. I need a lawyer, man, if you're gonna keep all in my face.
By the time he got to court, he was aloof as you could imagine. He blew kisses to people in the gallery, including some of the victims' families, and he would periodically smile while being tried, which upset the judge because he couldn't figure out why he was smiling. Things didn't get any better from there, as Rhodes would later say various things to the judge, prosecutors, and more to disrupt the proceedings, even saying the judge was being bribed to make him look guilty.
Are you some type of racist? Which one is it?
Or are you just wrong in everything that you made a motion for?
Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
Still not enough for you? Well, he also took things further by repeatedly firing his defense attorneys, which held up his trial more and more.
Nice cheat shot. You a coward. Nice cheat. You a coward.
So what we have here is a person who didn't care what he did, didn't mind taking more lives to get the job done, and then making a mockery of the court, its officials, and the process of the law. Disrespectful indeed. Number 1, Jeremy Christian. While it would be subjective to say that we saved the worst for last, there's little doubt that Jeremy Christian is an incredibly unruly and disrespectful defendant. The phrase hate crime has sadly been used more and more recently because of all the acts that people have made against those of other cultures. Enter Jeremy Christian, who was one such person who did such a crime while on a train, and then did an even bigger crime as a follow-up. Everything started out pretty basic for him. He was on a train going to a place in Oregon, and then all of a sudden he sees 2 women of color and starts doing a slur-filled rant against them. Fortunately, some other people on the train got in his face and told him to back off. Unfortunately, after they did that, Christian pulled a knife and killed 2 of them and injured another. He fled the train after the attack, and he was quickly arrested while trying to flee. But if you thought he might feel sad about what he did, he didn't. He was filmed in the back of the police car stating that he was happy about what he did.
I'm happy as a motherfucker. Hopefully this motherfucker dies.
What kind of person says that after they take a life? Things only got worse for everyone involved when Christian was taken to trial.
To Mr. Jeremy Christian, your mom should have swallowed you. You are a waste of breath. And when you die and go to hell, I hope you rot.
See you there.
Because one of the people he injured in the attack came onto the witness stand and told him that she hoped he would burn in the fiery pits below when he did. When she said that, he went on another slur-filled rant in front of everyone. Saying that she and others like her messed up the whole system. Thankfully, after that outburst, the judge quickly sentenced him to 2 life sentences. So at the very least, he'll rot on this plane before rotting in the next. And there you have it, everyone. A look at these 5 defendants and why they're some of the worst at being defendants, because they couldn't keep themselves controlled, contained, or something in between. Are you shocked at how these 5 acted in the courts they were in? Which of them do you feel was the worst of the bunch? And do you think people like them will ever learn their lesson? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.